Hello YouTube, this is a video to show you how to get this much suspension articulation out of your Kyosho Mad Force 2.0 VE. As you can see, this is pretty much maxed out where the axle is touching the chassis. That will be the limiting factor to here now. So the factory Mad Force has a hard time doing a full soda can, but as you can see, with the way the suspension is set up right now, it is no problem for the front, no problem for the rear. So yeah, it's really excellent for trail running now. It actually absorbs shock when you jump it off the ramp. It's not bouncy anymore. You're not sacrificing any high speed stability. My setup currently right now is I am running a Armor Outcast body. Even though the body's listed as 13-inch wheelbase, it actually fits the cruiser really well. I am running Risky Concepts 2.6-inch hybrid 17mm clodbuster wheels, and I'm running J Concept Renegades with gold compound. Now let's take off the body and see what I did to get this amount of flex on the suspension. So first thing is I had to ditch the factory shock absorbers. I am running ground pounder shocks. These are 5 inches versus 4.5, 4 3/4 for the Kyosho shocks. They provide more overall travel up and down. They are also more narrow, so you can run them in this angle without actually hitting the side of the chassis. Now, if you look at the side, I am running them at a very steep angle like this, and also on the back like that. I have to to drill an extra hole over here. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1/4 inch more in. You cannot reuse the factory shock mounts when you use the ground pounder shocks, but any 3mm bolt that's about 1 inch long, I got nylon locking nut and a 1/4 inch nylon spacer, and that would clear it just enough to not rub against the chassis. And if you see me, this is at half droop. That's pretty much the resting height. It goes this much, and then all the way down, it pretty much touches the axle. The chassis will hit the axle. So this is how much, full travel suspension in the front. In the rear, what I did, this is credit to Tony M386 on rcmt.net. These are the factory shock towers, but I unbolted them and I laid them down. I took off the chassis brace, and this allows me to get the same angle as the rear. And again, it will, look how much up and down travel this thing has. Again, this helps a lot. Now, the reason why I think they went with the shock mounts up is because for the nitro version, the exhaust comes down this way. It would hit. So nitro cars obviously can't do this, but on the VE versions, no problem. You do this and the suspension automatically softens up. Now, I did put a spacer from the eRevo push rods over here to try to give it a little bit more of a triangulation, so that it will have less side-to-side flex. I originally had this with Thundertech Racing's traction bars over here, but it really was stiff. It acted as like an anti-sway bar, and it reduced my travel, like my flex, by like 1.5 inches. Once I took them off, I was really able to get a lot of flex out of this without much penalty in torque twist or handling. I mean, it will still torque twist a little, but when you just gun it, it'll maybe lift up this much. Nothing major. As you notice, I actually have a Traxxas eRevo brushless receiver box, waterproof, because I have a Thundertech Racing axle mounted servo. This is a savox 2010 SG, and it would actually hit the original factory battery box. So I had to remove the bar over here, and I had to remove the battery box and move it out of the way. I also have universals in the front. This current setup will throw dog bones. What I had to do was I had to take this drive cup out and grind off the lip on the stub on the lower sprocket. This allows me to shift this out about 1/4 inch. So now, as you can see, the dog bones will come nowhere near like popping out. Like even under full like suspension droop, I will still not throw a dog bone. I mean, the reason why I got the CVD is because I was throwing dog bones constantly from doing wheelies, from doing backflips off walls and stuff like that. So you have to do this mod. You have to Dremel off that little nub, because if you don't, you're gonna be running 2-wheel drive half the time. So basically, this is my current setup right now. I'm also using Velcro straps because these battery box break all the time. I use one clip in the Velcro straps, and it's very easy to undo. And that's basically it. Any questions, you can ask about it on my YouTube comments, and I will do my best to answer any questions you have. Thank you.